there, this is Tiff and welcome to the Tiffany Micah podcast. What we do here is we solve your problems so that you're out there working on achieving your big dreams and big goals. So when you listen to these episodes, if you can do me a favor, take a screenshot of the episode that you're actually listening to, share it on social media and share it with your friends with hashtag potential with Tiff, so that I can give you a shout out and really thank you for listening, because I'd really appreciate it. Hey there, this is Tiff from Tiffany Micah podcast and welcome to today's episode. So when you hear the word fear, what does it mean to you? Because this is what the meaning of fear is in the dictionary. It is an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm, or be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or harm. Okay, so that's the definition of fear. So when it comes to sport, what is really the fear here? Well, it's the fear of losing, isn't it? And you know what? It can be painful. It can be tough on the ego when you lose. But this fear that we have about the fear of losing is really caused by what we think. And what we think is that we may not perform well, we don't want to look like an idiot, we don't want to lose, and there's all these thoughts that run through our head. So that's what that fear creates, isn't it? And it's that fear caused by what we think, right? It's only what's in our head. It's actually not true, but we create that in our minds. So what is the Bloodline code accepting fear willingly and enthusiastically? Sorry, I got my tongue twisted. So accepting fear willingly and enthusiastically, what does that actually mean in the Bloodline code? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. And this is what my belief is in when we accept fear willingly and enthusiastically. Got a bit of a tongue twister. Anyway, acknowledge that you are feeling the fear, but it won't hinder you. When you are challenged, you experience apprehension. However, you understand that this is pushing you into discomfort and uneasiness, but you recognize that it is part of the growth process for you to accomplish your goals. And you set out, when experiencing this, to feel it, embrace it, and then channel it into you giving the best you can get out of yourself in that given moment. And that's what I believe that accepting fear willingly and enthusiastically really means in this Bloodline code. So let's have a look at what the main points are here. So number one is acknowledging that you are feeling the fear, right? It's having that awareness. Point number two is you understand that feeling fear is all part of being uncomfortable. Number three is being uncomfortable is how you learn and grow into the athlete that you want to become. And number four is you love feeling this fear because you can use it to channel it into giving your best effort of you. And that's that saying, you've probably heard that plenty of times, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? It's really embracing that fear. So let's break it down into those main points that I've just suggested here of what the Bloodline code actually is, and we'll break it down into each step, okay? So acknowledging that you're feeling the fear, so that's awareness. So the fear could be that you have a fear of losing, a fear of making mistakes, fear of not getting it right, fear of playing a tougher opponent, it's nerves. But it's just to acknowledge that, you know what, I am fearful of what's going on here, and just acknowledge that it's okay to feel it. Okay, we don't have to block it out. It's better that we, really embrace it and we accept it and just be aware that that's where we're at. Okay. Then number two, so I want you to ask the questions that are running through your mind. Why are you feeling this way, and when do you feel this way? So this is understanding the fear. It's all part of being uncomfortable, right? So it's that question of what's running through your mind when you feel this way, right? When you feel the fear. So the questions that could run through your mind are, can I do this? Or I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous? I've done this before, but why am I so nervous? I don't want to lose. How could I lose to this person? I've never done this before. I hope I can do this. I don't want to look like a failure. My friends will laugh at me when I lose this, right? So there's thoughts, questions, and so on that are going on in your mind when you're feeling this fear, okay? So for each question asked, or for each thought that you've come up with, I want you to write a detailed answer for each, okay? And so what I mean, for example, is, why am I so nervous, right? So this is the question that you ask. And the reason is that why you're so nervous is because I've played this person before. I want to win and I haven't yet beaten them yet. And I want to prove to my coach and my parents I can do this. My parents spend so much on me and I don't want to let them down. I keep losing every time I'm on the court, right? So this could be these answers here of why am I so nervous. You can see there's a whole list of things that are coming up and thoughts that are running through your mind just in this one area of why I'm so nervous. And it's good to detail it so we can really understand what's going on here. And number 4, then what we want to do is reframe each thought, okay? So how we do that is, for example, I want to win and I haven't yet. So instead of saying I want to win and I haven't yet, why don't you say I will focus on my game plan every time I step onto the court? Again, see where the focus is. And I've spoken about that in the Ask Tiff question, which you would have heard an episode about that recently, about where the focus is, right? Is it the focus on the dread or is the focus on the game plan, right? So it's I want to win and I haven't yet. Well, reframe that thought and go, I will focus on my game plan every time I step out onto the court. How much more powerful is that? It's so much more powerful. It makes a difference, right? It's what you think, what words you say, then how it makes you feel. Here's another one. I want to prove to my coach and my parents I can do this. So instead of saying that, you could say, I will focus on executing my game plan, and by doing this, the proof will come. Right? Because you're out there to prove to your parents and the coach that you can do this. Well, how about you focus on executing your game plan, and by doing this, the proof will come, because that's what it is. If you execute your game plan, everything else will come into place for you so much better than if you're focusing on, I've got to prove to my parents that I'm good, because the focus is not on producing the game plan, it's focused on your parents. Here's another one. I keep losing every time I'm on the court. So how we can reframe this is I keep working, learning how to improve my game every time I step onto the court, right? So I keep on working on how to learn how to improve my game every time I step out onto the court. So instead of you focusing on I keep losing every time I'm on the court, I keep working on how to learn on how to improve my game every time I step out on the court. You can see how when you change the structure of the words, it will change how you feel about things. You may not believe it just yet, but it's taking that practice and getting used to reframing those negative thoughts into the positive thoughts, so they're like, yeah, well, you know what? You don't have to say, I win every time I'm on the court, because your mind will go, well, no, you don't. But if you say, I keep working on learning how to improve my game every time I step out on the court, the focus is on you learning how to improve, okay? And number 5, we want to craft a strategy for each thought. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean here is just say you've said I want to win and I haven't yet, with that reframing thought, what we did in number 4, and we were going to reframe it to I will focus on my game plan every time I step out on the court. So that's what we're going to do here. We'll use this as an example. So for each thought that comes up, right, and then we reframe it into that positive thought, then you go, okay, well, that positive thought that I'm now going to use, I'll focus on my game plan. Then we got to ask the question, well, what is the game plan on the court, right? So what are the types of plays or routines that you do? Where you hit majority of your serves? how you wear your opponent out, right? So you're creating strategies in how to deal with those thoughts that come up, how to then reframe the thought, and then create a strategy for each thought. So you see what I mean? So what we're doing here is, rather than thinking about feeling fear, right, what we're doing is we're really accepting that fear, acknowledging that we've got that fear. We ask the questions of what's going on, why are we feeling this way? We reframe that thought, and then we craft a strategy around each of those thoughts. How powerful is that? That changes everything, doesn't it? When instead of worrying about feeling fear, okay, or worrying about losing and so on. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard. If you haven't yet downloaded the number one deadly mistake that athletes make, because I don't want this to be you, and this will be the thing that will always hold you back if you haven't got this one tackled. Go to my site, tiffany-micah.com. Make sure you download that so that you can get to work on making sure that doesn't come up for you, that deadly mistake. And I would love it if you could share with your friends what you like best about what these episodes are, how they've impacted you, and also how they can help impact them and help them become a better athlete as well. So if you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I'd really appreciate a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Have an awesome day. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions about the frustrations that you're actually going through right now, come over and visit my site, tiffany-micah.com, and you will see on the home page I've set up Ask Tiff. Now what Ask Tiff is this is where you can ask me a question, and I will record an episode for you on how to solve that frustration or those frustrations you're actually going through, so that we can get the problem solved for you, so that you're actually out there achieving your big dreams and goals. So if you want me to mention your name in the episode, happy to do so. If you don't, I can keep it anonymous. It's fine by me. But make sure you go over and go to the Ask Tiff on the homepage of my website. If you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I'd also appreciate if you could leave a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And remember, take a screenshot, add the hashtag #potentialwithtiff so that I can give you a shout out for sharing these episodes on social media. I'd really appreciate it. And remember this, always, always, always dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.